غريب في الحياة وفي الممات ومجهول الهوية والصفات كذا كانت حياتي دون معنى أفسرها ككل الكائنات.
There will be challenges and you will face a lot of obstacles, some of them major obstacles.
I will not say welcome to the force. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The topic we are about to study deals with a subject that touches every person of us. It's extremely important, yet it is also extremely saddening that a lot of us has fell into this haram. It's an obstacle, indeed it is, that may prevent us from entering Jannah, that may prolong our residency, our stay in Jahannam. May Allah Azza wa Jal gives us refuge. May Allah give us refuge, all of us, from the hellfire. Now, yesterday we've mentioned the hadith about the most major sins. And the first one was a shirk. The second one was killing an innocent soul without any right, without any legitimacy. However, in the same hadith of the 7 major sins, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned 2 major sins. And he said, ﷺ, consuming riba. So this is a major sin. And consuming the wealth of an orphan. Because usually orphans are unable to claim their rights. So you have the upper hand and you can commit such a transgression without anyone knowing about it. So, to begin our talk, Islam is the perfect religion. Islam is the only religion from Allah Azza wa Jal that has been preserved and will be preserved till the day of judgment. Islam is the last revelation to all mankind and to jinn as well. You cannot doubt this fact. So do not anticipate another religion to come. Do not wait for another messenger to come, because the law, the Sharia of Islam is final. And therefore, we have to understand that the consensus of all scholars of Islam state that Islam came to preserve 5 essential things. 1 is your religion. 2 is your life. 3 is the safety of your mental health. 4, the safety of your wealth, and which we are about to talk about. And finally, your honor. And this is a bit vague. In Arabic is al-ird. And ird can refer to your honor in the sense of your wife, your daughter, your mother, all females in your family. And it also can refer to, and this is the most authentic opinion, to your reputation. So al-ird is the thing that people praise or criticize. So my reputation, if I backbite you, I am attacking your ird. If I look at your wife, I am attacking your ird. And so on. If I slander you, definitely this is an attack on your ird, on your reputation, on your honor. These are the 5 things that Islam protects. Now, money is the essence of life. People had written poems on money. There were songs on money. There were novels on money. There were plays written on money. And people, a lot of them, live and die for money. And this is why Allah Azza wa Jal describes it in the Quran as a trial, as a fitna. إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ fitna. Verily, your wealth and your children are but a trial. It's a fitna. It's a test. What are you going to do with the money? Or before that, where did you get that money from? And this is what the Prophet ﷺ reiterated and emphasized upon when he said that every ummah has a fitna, a trial, a tribulation. And the tribulation of the ummah of Muhammad is in money. Now don't go far, because we're not going to be very technical, because if we want to be technical, it will take us seriously a few days. Because wealth is important in Islam. When I say money, I don't mean ringgits or dollars. Money is defined in fiqh as anything that you possess. So your property, your gold, your silver, whatever has value for you to sell, this is also considered to be money. So your car is money as well. Now, usually when lots of you, mashallah, are billionaires, they are not sitting at ease when they hear this. Say, yeah, this is what the poor people say. Money is bad, money is trial, money is this. This is what you say because you can't afford it. Well, this is not true. Because the Prophet ﷺ could have been the richest man on earth. It's sufficient for you to know one hadith, that Jibreel came to him, peace be upon him, and said, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you wish, Allah tells me to turn this big neighborhood, Hasba'u Makkah, I'll turn it to you into gold. Just say the word. And the Prophet ﷺ did not choose this. He voluntarily, whenever he got the booty of war, his share of war, it would not spend one night with him. He would all give it away. To the extent that he would not find food to be cooked in his house for 2 consecutive months. And he is the Prophet, the Messenger of Allah. And if you visit any house of ours and open the kitchen's cupboards, you will find food that would last us for 3 years. Sometimes we do this. Sometimes we throw the food because the date has expired and we did not consume it. Compare us to the Prophet ﷺ. So, in a sense, oh billionaires, you are not quite right when you say that this is what the poor people say. No. Money is of value in Islam. And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, no wealth has benefited me more than the wealth of Abu Bakr. May Allah be pleased with him. Because Abu Bakr was sort of the finance minister? No. He was one of the richest men of Quraysh, of Mecca. But he spent all of his money for the cause of Allah. He bought Bilal, the Abyssinian slave, the mu'adhin of the Prophet, to the extent when Umar used to see Abu Bakr and Bilal walking together, he says, Abu Bakr is our Sayyid, and he has freed our Sayyid. Abu Bakr Sayyiduna wa a'taqa Sayyidana. He's referring to Bilal to be his Sayyid, his master, his peer, because of the humility and humbleness of Umar, may Allah be pleased with him. So the Prophet ﷺ told us that wealth can benefit. And he also said to Amr ibn al-As, "O Amr, the best of wealth is the one in the hands of a righteous person." Why? Because he's going to use it and utilize it in what is right and what is correct. So today we are to speak about some, and this is the tip of an iceberg, some of the haram income that unfortunately most of the Muslims may, knowingly or unknowingly, be consuming, be earning. And I'm saying that this is the tip of an iceberg because it can literally go for days without end talking about this subject, which is very important. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions consuming the wealth of an orphan. This is haram. But what happens if I do consume it? And is it literal or a figure of speech? So $100 that belongs to an orphan whom I am the guardian of. If I take it and I buy cheeseburgers, I'm going to be fat in less than 2 weeks. But let's assume I do eat it. So is this hellfire actually or a figure of speech? It is both. Because on the day of judgment, due to the fact that you had consumed something that is haram, you will consume hellfire in your stomach on the day of judgment. Allah Azza wa Jal says, "Indeed, those who devour the property of orphans unjustly are only consuming into their bellies fire, and they will be burned in a blaze." So it is tangible. And you will feel that if you do this. The Prophet says, alayhi salatu wasalam, "He who consumes haram money and his flesh grows from that, he will not be admitted to Jannah." That's an authentic hadith. And the same hadith was narrated in a different way. He who has his flesh grown from haram will be worthy of hellfire. So this is serious. You will not enter Jannah. Said, okay, I don't want to go to Jannah. But you will enter fire. This is a problem. Because if I'm not punished, and if I'm not rewarded, no problem. But if I'm punished, this is a big problem. Once you remember that the least person to be punished in hellfire, the least punishment, what is the least torment? Is a stone of fire placed in a person's sandals. From the heat of that stone of fire, his brain boils. So his whole body is conducting heat. And you can imagine what's happening to the flesh, to the bone, to the nerves, to the everything else. And this is the least. No one is less than this. So if Allah Azza wa Jal forgave every single sin you have committed in your life, and He wants to punish you for a cigarette that you enjoy after lunch, wow, that's good. People, subhanallah, this is not our topic anyhow. If Allah wants to punish you for that cigarette, this is your punishment. Because this is the least torment in hellfire. But what about if Allah wants to take us for the whole 9 yards? Then we have a serious problem indeed. No one among us is interested in entering hellfire or even being close to it. If a drop of a zaqqum from hellfire were to be dropped on earth, it will spoil and corrupt the food and the drink of the entire humanity. One drop. What about those who drink it in hellfire every single moment till eternity? May Allah Azza wa Jal save us. Each one of us is so happy. I'm happy. I don't know about you. When someone says, Sheikh, make dua for me that Allah pays off my debts. And I say, oh Allah, pay off his debts. And he calls us the following morning day, Sheikh, Allah paid my debts. And I say, where's my percentage? Everybody feels happy when you make dua and Allah makes it come true. Because Allah answers your dua, whether it comes true or not. We know this. And again, this is not the time to disclose the 3 types of Allah answering your dua. Allah answers all of your dua. However, those who fail to consume halal and they mix or have only haram to eat, Allah will not answer their dua. In a weak hadith, though it is very famous and popular, Sa'd, one of the 10 heaven-bound companions, Sa'd ibn Malik, known as Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, O Prophet of Allah, pray to Allah that I become someone who is always answered when he makes dua to Allah. And by the way, through the history of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he was that person, which strengthens that the hadith is authentic. All the companions feared it when Sa'd said, listen, do this or I will make dua. Khalas, I apologize. This happened with Uthman, this happened with so many companions. So the Prophet gave him an advice, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, Ya Sa'd, atib mat'amak takun mustajab ad-da'wah. Be keen on consuming halal and Allah will answer your dua. In an authentic hadith in Sahih al-Imam Muslim, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam tells us about a traveler. And we know that the dua of a traveler is accepted. And he has dusty clothes and hair. And this is also a sign of those whom Allah answers their call. And he raises his hands to the heavens. And also raising the hands for dua is one of the means of answering your call. And he says, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb. He's calling Allah by his beautiful names. And this is also an indication or one of the means of getting your dua answered. However, the Prophet ﷺ elaborates. However, he's fed by haram. His drink is haram. He wears haram. So how would Allah respond to him? How would Allah answer his call? This is why the majority of Muslims say, oh Allah, free Palestine. And Allah does not make that happen for a purpose. But the majority of our income is not halal. And I'll try to study it with you in a very easy manner, because this is technical. I know it's heavy after lunch, no desserts. Maybe it's a little bit difficult, but try to cope with me, inshallah. First of all, what is the definition of al-malul haram? Prohibited wealth, prohibited property, prohibited money. What is it? There are numerous definitions of it. The easiest and the most convenient to remember is any wealth that you are not allowed to use or to possess. So you may possess it. Okay, I know that taking something haram is not permissible. I'm not going to possess it. But can I use it? No, as long as it's haram, mal haram, again, you are not allowed to use it. So you cannot own it and you cannot benefit from it. And jurors and scholars have a number of divisions. So some of them say mal al-haram, or the prohibited wealth, can be prohibited for its own nature. And it can be prohibited for a description, not for its nature. What is this? You're getting us confused. I'll tell you, don't worry. I hear you. Not that I know the unseen, but you know. So money that is prohibited for its nature, such as intoxicants, wine, whiskey, gin, tequila, vodka, scotch, black label, you know these things. This is haram for its nature. Pork, swine's meat, haram for its nature. Dead meat, an animal that was not slaughtered, it's haram for its nature. Selling impurities, such as blood. Can I go and sell blood or slaughter an animal and collect the blood and sell it or consume it? This is totally haram for its nature. And there are haram things not for their nature, but rather for their description. So I have $100. I can go and buy the hamburgers that would make me fat, or I can give it as a bribe to that official so he would give me the contract. If I give it to that official, this is a bribe, but the $100 is the same $100. So it is not haram for itself, but for the description that it was given due to something haram expected, which is to facilitate the contract. And we will speak about, inshallah, bribes in a very quick fashion. Scholars also divide haram wealth into whether it had been taken from you willingly or unwillingly. One would say, how is it possible that it is haram and taken from me willingly? I'll give you an example. Some airports, I'm not disclosing anything so that I would not be banned from entering that country again. Some airports, you land and you find this beautiful, gorgeous, shocking, it's not a female, a car, standing there, seducing you with its four wheels, with its curves, and you say, Subhanallah, la ilaha illallah. You look at the car and they tell you pay 500 and only 2,000 will participate. And you may get a chance to win. 500 out of 2,000, well, it's not a big ratio. Sheikh, I'll take 10. This is called what? This is called, in Arabic, ya nasib. It can be called lottery. It can be called gambling. And this is the official Islamic terminology. I'm paying 500 on the hope that I will win 500,000, the price of the car, or I lose. So this kind of money that I'm paying, am I paying it willingly? Yes, definitely. Hoping also. Nobody forced me to take it. And by the way, now this is category 1, the haram things that are taken or consumed willingly from the owner. And I will move on to the unlawful things later on. They're all unlawful, but without the permission of the owner. The issue of lottery or gambling is so widely spread in the Muslim world to the extent that people now are indulged in it. They're justifying it. They're making excuses for it without knowing, or Wallahu alam. I'll give you another example. Competitions. So I'm a football player. We have a football team, and we would like to play with other 5-6 teams. Each team puts 1,000 ringgits, and the winner takes all. This is haram. This is haram income. This is gambling. If you go and play with a slot machine, gambling. I'll give you a bigger example. Insurance. Sheikh, we all have medical insurance. Good luck. Insurance, car insurance, medical insurance, life insurance, all of this is gambling. Now, I'm not going to go into details if the government obliges you to do it. And if you don't do it, they'll put you in jail. This is out of necessity. I'm talking about the things that you have a choice in. Sheikh, I pay 1,500 ringgits a year, and I'm medically insured to 500,000. I may get cancer, chemotherapy, physiotherapy, new limbs, bionic hands, and so, mashallah, with 1,500. There is a possibility that for 30 years until I die, I don't use 1 ringgit out of it. And there is a possibility that the minute I get insured, the following day, I consume of Allah a'lam how much. This is prohibited. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know this. Whatever you give, if you have the option of winning it all or losing what you put, this is gambling. And I'm not going to hold it here because the time is really running out. Dealing in haram, this is consuming haram. What do you mean by dealing haram? The Prophet said, ﷺ, it is not permissible for a Muslim to have the cost or the price of a dog, meaning dogs are prohibited to sell and to buy. Did you know this? Who, raise your hands, please, just to be sure. Did you know this, that dogs are not permissible to be bought? Okay, mashallah, we have like 5%. And also, cats. You're not allowed to buy cats. Did you know this? MashaAllah, tabarakallah, someone is lying. This is haram for you to sell. The Prophet prohibited this. The Prophet prohibited what a prostitute gets for her services. The Prophet prohibited what a fortune teller, a soothsayer, a priest who predicts the future. And I think Sheikh Mufti Ismail Mink spoke about this, that Allah does not accept 40 days of your prayer if you consult a fortune teller without believing him. So if you open the newspaper and look at the zodiacs, I'm a scorpion, I'm a cow, which depending on what zodiac you are, and you say, ha ha ha, they say that this is going to happen tomorrow, ha ha ha, I don't believe it. 40 days, your prayer will not be accepted. Ya Sheikh, I don't believe it. Yes, 40 days. But if what happened or what's written happens tomorrow by Allah's decree, and you say, this is what they said yesterday, then you have abandoned Islam and you became a kafir. And this is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, not of someone is extremist. This is the hadith of the Prophet, Sahih Imam Muslim. Don't argue about it a lot. So, a lot of the things that are prohibited to sell, these are considered to be consuming hellfire. Based on ambiguity. In Islam, it's haram to make a transaction in an ambiguous way. And there are a number of hadiths where the Prophet tells us that bay'ul gharar, he prohibited bay'ul gharar, ambiguity, such as one of them is al-mulamasa. This is the Prophet's words, ﷺ. So if you come to my shop and I say, listen, all what you see is for 1 ringgit. Providing you touch it, whatever you touch, you buy. So you touched something that is worth nothing. Khalas, you're obliged to buy it. And you may touch something that is worth 10 ringgits. This is haram. And munabadha. If I throw anything for you, this is 10 ringgits. You agree? He said, agree. I give him a tissue box. 10 ringgits too much. We've agreed. So any such thing as transactions, such sales are prohibited. And the list is so long, I don't have time for it. There are ways that you take a person's belongings without his approval. So the first one was by mutual approval. Now we're talking about things that are without his approval, such as the most famous thing is stealing. If you steal from a person, this money is haram. You cannot benefit from it. You cannot utilize it and you cannot possess it. You have to return it back. And also taking something forcefully but publicly. And there is a difference. I can steal something in stealth, in nobody's watching, with conditions. If caught, then they will chop my hand. But I can embezzle or take something forcefully publicly. Like if I'm holding a public office and I take millions and millions of riyals or of dollars due to my powers. Everybody knows this. Do I get my hand cut? No. This is a crime. But it's a crime that everybody knows about, and they can catch me, they can prosecute me, they can do this and do that. With stealing, it is concealed, it's hidden. That's why every one of us can be a victim. Islam protects our wealth. So if the conditions are fulfilled in stealing, such as, first, it has to be concealed. If I'm walking and I find somebody's wallet, I'll take it. Is this stealing? No, it's wrong. But it's not stealing because it's in the open. It has to be in a cupboard. It has to be in a safe. It has to reach the nisab. It has to be done without any justification. So if I steal from my father, and don't listen to me, kids, if you steal from your father, there is no cutting of the hand, but you're doing something wrong. So there are so many conditions, and this is not the time for it. Some of the means of consuming hellfire is bribery, giving bribes. And this is quite famous among some Muslim countries. This calls for destruction for any country that this is found in. And the best of countries are those who put serious punishment for whomever is discovered to have taken even one single riyal. And this bribe has many, many forms, and we can spend the rest of the lecture talking about bribes. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, may Allah curse the one who gives bribe and the one who receives the bribe. And the bribe receiver is usually someone in a post or in a position. And this is why they're giving him the bribe. And that is why the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, if you were not in your position and sitting in your mother's house, would anybody give you anything? So the governor, the king, the president, the minister, the heads of departments, mashallah, big positions. What is this? Well, I got this as a present. From whom? From XYZ. He loves me for the sake of Allah. Okay, let's assume you're not in your office or in your job, and you are living in your mother's house or your father's house. Would he give you anything? No. In this case, this is a bribe. And you can cascade this on every single position. A teacher receiving just a week before the day of the exams a beautiful gift, an expensive pen. A doctor who prescribes medication, and the company of the pharmaceutical company comes and gives him a 3 days free ticket, first class, board, and everything, to attend a conference in the Bahamas. Doctor, what conference are you going to the Bahamas? Well, I don't know. With the family and the children and the neighbors. This is a bribe, and so on. As again, the issue of bribing is extremely complicated, but it is as clear as a daylight. You can see it. You know it, you feel it. It's in your office, it's within the purchasing department. They are the most people purchased. So they are the procurement. I go, Akhi, this is a gift. This is 3 days in the hospital, in a hospital, eventually in a hotel. This is a free ticket. This is a new laptop. I think it would help you in your work. And the people are getting richer and richer and richer. Their bank account was this big. Now, mashallah, it's this big. Where did they get this money from? Bribes. And we know this in the Arab world. I don't know about you here, but inshallah you don't have this problem. Why are they laughing? Anyhow, one of the major sins that deals with consumption of haram is riba. And riba, each and every one of you knows the meaning. Technically, it takes us ages to explain. But I'll give you an example. Riba is divided into two types. Riba al-fadl wa riba al-nasi'ah. Riba al-fadl is the difference in the same category. So if I have gold and you have gold and we would like to exchange, any difference in the caliber, any difference in a gram of weight, this is riba. Women do this a lot. They go to with all due respect, It's the husband paying, but they do the transaction. They go to a jeweler's shop and they say, look, how much is this bracelet of gold? And he says, after weighing it, it cost 2,000. And how much is that new one? He says, it cost 3,000. So she gives him the gold, 1,000 extra, and she takes that. This is riba. Now this is what you say. Look what your husbands are saying. Hey! Transactions are haram. I'll give you another example, and this is for the men. You go to an exchange office. This is $100. How much is it in ringgit? Approximately 400. So, okay, can I have it? He said, I have only 300. Here is 300. Come after 5 minutes, I'll get it to you. Okay, this is riba. This is riba. It has to be hand by hand when it's exchange between gold and silver, or gold and money, silver and money. Also, there are 6 categories. I don't want to get into technical things. You will sleep. 6 things that the Prophet named, alayhi salam: gold by gold, silver by silver, salt by salt, dates by dates, wheat by wheat, barley by barley. 2 categories. 1, anything that is used as a price, gold and silver, currencies. 2, anything that is weighed, either by size or by weight, and it's consumed. So these 2 conditions have to be fulfilled. These are 2 different categories, but riba applies in anything that falls under this table. Let us get back to earth. Sheikh, show me riba. Riba is the interest you get from your bank account. I'll be more extreme. When you deposit your money in a bank, I have 100,000 ringgit. I put it in a bank. Do you think if I have 100,000, I'll be lecturing here? Assume. I have 100,000 and I deposit it in a bank. What is the transaction between me and the bank? Is it for safekeeping? No. If it were safekeeping, if the bank was burnt to the ground, he would come to me and say, I'm afraid your money is gone. Because if I give you, for example, my car, and I tell you, put it in your garage, and you put it safe in your garage, and an earthquake happens, and the car is gone, do I have the right to tell you, give me my car back? You are doing me a favor. This is called safekeeping. The bank actually guarantees that he gives you back the money because this is a loan to the bank. Meaning, with 100,000 ringgits in my bank account, every year, twice a year, the bank sends me gifts, sends me boxes, fancy boxes with sweets, with dates, with pens, with mobile phones. These gifts are riba because it's an interest charged over a loan. If you want to dispose of it, I'm willing to take it with me all to Saudi Arabia, and now inshallah find a way for it. But it's haram for you to use. Also, when you put a time deposit box, you throw money and they give you percentage. Now, I'm not talking about the Islamic banking, because the issue of Islamic banking is so vague that a lot of the Islamic banking are dealing in riba, but camouflaging it. Especially in the issue of tawarruq, if the issue of murabaha, these words you all know, and everything is done on paper. Excuse me, I'd like to borrow 100,000 ringgits so that I can deposit in the bank like the Sheikh and be rich like him. Okay, no problem. How are you going to do this? Listen, we will sell you air conditioners of 100,000? Yes, we will sell you air conditioners of this maker, and sign here, please. Okay. And sign here another contract authorizing us to sell it. And we will sell it for 15% less of the market price. Okay. Khalas, you've done this, here's your money. When did you do the transaction? So don't worry, we take care of all the technicalities. This is clear riba. They're selling and buying of something that you did not acquire, no acquisition, on paper. And we don't want to go through this because it will take us another couple of days. Riba is extremely haram. The riba on the loan. And I'll give you another example. I know that most of you will hate me after this, if you're not hating me at the moment. A lot of us love to invest. I believe that a lot of us are investing in haram. I'll tell you how. You know a brother who is righteous and practicing, and he says, Akhi, I need 50,000 ringgit to invest in a project that I'm doing. I said, oh, no problem. This is 50,000. What's my percentage? He says, I'll give you 10%. Yani 5,000 every month. Okay. On the guarantee that I do not lose anything of my capital. I said, yes, you will not lose. It's a winning project. And I give him the money. This is clear riba. 100% riba. No difference of opinion. Sheikh, oh, I'm investing. Yeah, you're investing, but you are guaranteeing a percentage and no loss. Meaning that it's a loan of 50,000 and he is giving you the riba of 5,000 a month. But if you say, I demand 90% of the profit. If there is a profit, and if there is loss, I lose my money. This is halal. No, Sheikh, lose my money. It's not halal. Then don't invest. This is Islamic investing, not riba, the one you want. And we can go on. It would take us another couple of weeks. Anyhow, the Prophet says, alayhi salatu wasalam, or Jabir, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam cursed the one who consumes riba, the one who gives riba. So there's someone who takes and someone who gives. And the one who writes the riba, the registrar, the accountant. And this is a problem. I know that half of you are accountants, but you want the truth, well, you want me to sugarcoat it and give it to you. You want to eat halal, right? Wallahi, it is befitting for you to sit at the gate of the masjid taking sadaqah rather than to eat haram. The Prophet cursed the one who gives, the one who takes, the one who registers, and the witnesses. Those who are witnessing. I'm not charging anything. I'm just testifying. The Prophet said, and the hadith is Sahih Muslim, all are in the same sin. The gravity, the danger, the consumption of haram money, of hellfire, they are all the same. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, riba is 73 divisions or types. So there you have the highest. The lowest of it is like having intercourse with your own mother. Are you serious? This is authentic hadith. Do you have second thoughts about riba? The least is having intercourse with your own mother. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Not even animals do this. So it's a serious thing. Among the things that cause us to consume hellfire, or you had enough? Wallahi, I'm afraid. طيب, yalla. False oath. And this is plenty. See, in business, and I've dealt with so many people in business, what you rely mostly on is your word. So if I make a transaction with you, I don't have to sign. I don't have to have witness. I depend on your word. And this is why if someone swears and says, Wallahi, I bought this for 10, I believe him. Because I glorify Allah Azza wa Jal. I trust Allah. So if you use Allah's name, I'm going to believe you. In Sahih al-Imam Bukhari. And this shows you how we deal differently with Allah than our predecessors. Sahih al-Bukhari, Isa, peace be upon him, the Prophet of Allah, saw a man stealing. So he got hold of him and caught him. And he said, you have stolen. And the man said, Wallahi, I did not steal. He let him go and said, I believe in Allah and I falsify my own eyesight. I do not believe my eyes. Khalas, I believe that you swore by Allah. He is a messenger of Allah. And I'm not going to go into details of explaining this hadith and what is the concept of it, because anyone can come and say, Wallahi, I did not steal and he took my wallet. So, khalas. then I will do this. I'll become rich. Then I'll have 100,000 ringgit in my bank account. But it would be haram. So the concept, you have to understand that we glorify Allah Azza wa Jal. However, people who use Allah's name in their transactions, they will be punished. And they will be severely punished if they were lying. Even if they were telling the truth, they will be punished. Because they sold the name of Allah. People did not buy it from you except because you used Wallah. But if you were lying, this is even worse. The Prophet ﷺ says, whoever takes the property of a Muslim by false oath, then he has taken a part or a portion of hell, and he will not be admitted to Jannah. Very scary. One of the companions said to the Prophet of Allah, even a stick of arak, even this miswak, even if I managed to swear by Allah to take this miswak, he said, even if it was as small as a miswak. Where I come from, we have, mashallah, people taking, not countries, regions, by swearing by Allah that it is theirs. If you go to the courts, you will find people falsely testifying, swearing by Allah, I will do anything by Allah. May Allah take my eyesight if I was lying. Who turned off the lights? They swear they have no problem. And I know a lot of people like this. May Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy on us. Ya akhi, this is haram. He said, I go for Umrah. Khalas. Allah erases the sins. No, this is not correct. Allah erases minor sins. The major sins such as this, you need to give it back to the lawful owner. And this is known as al-yamin al-ghamus. Yamin is oath, pledge, wallahi. Ghamus is the one that dips you. Why? It dips you in hellfire when you consume someone's wealth through that. And you can cascade it to false testimony. I need you tomorrow to testify with me in court. Yeah, I didn't see. Don't you believe me? Yes, I believe you. Khalas, I will testify. Yes, he did not take. Yes, he took. This is haram. And this is part of it. Allah Azza wa Jal says, O you who believe, do not consume one another's wealth unjustly, but only in lawful business by mutual consent. What will happen? Allah Azza wa Jal says, then we will drive him into fire, whoever does this. Among the unlawful ways of consumption of money, I don't know about you, I have been stung a number of times. People come and borrow money, and you give it to them, and that's it. You never see them. Akhi, and we have a saying in Arabic, when someone wants money from you, he kisses your hands tens of times. But when you want your money back, you kiss his feet tens of times. And this is absolutely true. I've witnessed this myself in business transactions, in borrowings, in people come to you humble like a panda bear. MashaAllah, please. You give it to them and then they become Pharaoh, MashaAllah. They would not return your calls. Akhi, this is among the major sins of consuming people's money in transgression. Also, part of the haram income is cheating. We all know cheating. The Prophet says, "Man ghashana, falaysa minna." Whoever cheats us is not from among us. And cheating is not only in your exams when you do your English test. No, this is one part of cheating. We're talking about cheating in transactions. So cheating originated from the Prophet ﷺ walking once in the market. He saw a pile of wheat, of food, of dates. He gets his hand inside of it and he finds wetness. Now the food should be dry. So he said, owner of the food, what is this? He said, Prophet of Allah, yesterday it was raining, so I turned it upside down. I said, Subhanallah, why didn't you make it on top so people could relate to it and know whoever cheats us is not from among us. Now, nowadays, do we have cheating in our transactions? In Malaysia? How is that done? It is done in quantity. وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ. So I pretend to be selling you 1,000 pieces. It's actually 998. And when I buy from you 1,000 pieces, I insist it is 1,002. This is a kind of transaction. If I weigh to sell, I reduce. If I weigh to buy, I increase. I always take what is in my advantage. Cheating can be in quality. So the quality is lower, the quality is less. And unfortunately, a lot of the countries sell counterfeit, something that is not original. So one says, Sheikh, I'd like to be Burberry. I'd like to wear this. I would like to, but I can't afford it. Okay, you don't afford it? You don't need it. He said, no, but I need people. A brother came to me 3-4 weeks ago with a set of watches. He said, Sheikh, I know you like Mont Blanc. This is this, this is this. I said, how much is this? He says, 800 riyals. Wow, looks real. Sheikh, take it. I'll sell it for you with a discount. Yeah, the original cost 20,000. He said, who knows? I said, I know. How would I live with myself wearing something that is fake? Fooling people, but who will fool me? So selling counterfeit is haram because you're cheating people. Okay, Sheikh, they know. It's still haram because it's a company that has copyright and you are trespassing. You are making transgression after the research and production and designing and investing money. You come and make part of that. And we would not like to go into copywriting because then we will talk about Windows 10. We will talk about all of these things. Sheikh, are they paying you? No, wallahi, they're not paying me. But this is halal and haram. This is halal and haram. And if they were paying me, I wouldn't be lecturing here. Also, we have this, I don't know if you have auctions for used cars. Yeah, we have this in Saudi. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. They make the biggest cheaters on earth. They tell you this car goes from 0 to 100 in 5, meaning hours. But they cheat, they lie. They tell you this car is this car is that. Auctions in food, auctions in property, all of this can have cheating in it. 8 minutes left and so many things to talk about. Selling haram. Do we sell haram here in Malaysia? We sell haram everywhere in the Muslim world. And this is a big problem. Ya akhwan, we're not practicing Muslims. Don't kid ourselves. We have problems from here to Mecca. Distance is long, not because Mecca is anything, don't get me wrong. We have a problem and we're not ready to fix ourselves. Yeah, Sheikh, wallah, we have haram, we have this. Do you care in an interest-based loan? Akhi, haram, riba, yeah, I know, subhanallah. One umrah does the job. Again. Among the things that are haram to sell are anything that is haram to use. So let me give you a quick list. Musical instruments. Music is haram? This Sheikh is Wahhabi. This definitely Sheikh is extremist. Wallah, wallah, wallah. If music was halal, I would be the first one to listen to it. I would be the first one to enjoy it. But it's not. This is the religion of Allah. The haram of music, which unfortunately here is widely spreading, not to the extent of enjoying it personally, but to the extent of even getting closer to Allah. What are you doing? Are you praying? No, I'm getting closer to Allah. I'm listening to music. Excuse me? Yeah, I'm singing. Nasheed. Nasheed, akhi, behind you there's an orchestra. Yes, it's very good, huh? Haram. It is the Prophet who prohibited it, and the hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. Yeah, maybe it's weak, maybe, okay. What are you, Shafi'i, Malki, Hanafi, Hanbali? The 4 schools of thought, the consensus, they all agreed it is haram to listen to musical instruments. This is a big issue, akhwan. Seriously. Now, wallahi, it hardens your heart. It makes it as hard as stone. That's why you pray, I'm unable to cry. I'm unable to feel the Quran and the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Let's not get into this. This is not our subject. It will take us maybe 4 weeks more to conclude this. So selling of any musical instruments, violin, pianos, guitars, synthesizers, even synthesizers, because synthesizers are not brass-based or string-based. It's something new. Anything that has music, has beat into it, that makes you dance or want to dance, that make you cry, that make you happy, music is totally prohibited. Movies, come on. After the convention, I have tickets to go and watch whatever, Hangover 4. How do you say it's haram? Akhi, any movies that contain music, okay, music we're over with, or mixing between the genders, women, violence, sex, profanity, all of this is haram. So I cannot even sell it, I'm not going to watch it. Selling it, watching it is all haram. Songs, we've gone through that. Dogs, we've gone through that. Intoxicants, nobody sells, alhamdulillah, or consumes or buys khamr because we all know it's haram. But what about drugs? Cocaine, heroin, opium, haram. What about marijuana? Sheikh, you have to be cool, man. You have to chill, dude. Subhanallah. It is all haram, a major sin in Islam. Allah will not accept your prayers for 40 days. Come on. 40 days. Yes, anyone who consumes intoxicants, Allah will not accept his prayers for 40 days. Now, this is a big problem. So, smoking, what do you call it? Shisha? Or it has, in Arabic, we call it anything that you consume of such tobacco-based or mu'assil or whatever they call it, it's all haram. It dangers and harms your health and it burns your wealth. So selling it, dealing with it, renting it is all haram income. Selling images of human beings, of animals, whether they're statue, 3D, or 2D, drawings, it's also haram because the Prophet prohibited it. Selling haram things for people. Selling a wig. You know, hair, wigs for women? Sheikh, what have you made halal for us, Sheikh? Well, this is the next year, inshallah, convention. We will talk about halal things. Wearing a wig for a woman is haram. Having extensions, her hair is this long, and then, mashallah, tomorrow her hair is this long. What is this? There's extensions, Sheikh. It looks real, huh? Haram. The one who does it, it cursed. So you selling it is haram. Having clothes that are haram sold to people that you know will wear it in haram, then this is haram. Selling men gold rings or gold watches, it's haram for them to wear, it's haram for you to sell. And 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Renting your property. The brothers billionaires who we've addressed in the beginning, they have a lot of properties and they don't consume haram, alhamdulillah. But they lease their properties to banks based on riba. They leased their properties to insurance companies. They leased their properties to nightclubs, to massage parlors, to selling alcohol, tobacco, etc., to restaurants that sell pork and sell intoxicants. I'm not dealing with that. Yeah, but you're taking the rent. You are contributing. You are cooperating. Your income is haram. Then am I doing a sin if I'm serving in a restaurant or an airplane haram liquor or haram food? Akhi, after 1 hour, minus 1 minute, you do not understand this? Please watch the recording. Definitely it's haram. Selling, the Prophet cursed 10 in khamr. Those who buy it, those who sell it, those who carry it, those who it's being carried to, those who make it, those who plant it, those who... 10 people are cursed in one single item. So do not cooperate on haram. Do anything, but make sure you do not consume haram. And finally, Did I say that a while ago? Okay. No, finally, before the final one. The Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, on the day of judgment, when it is 50,000 years long, when the sun draws closer to the people until they sweat, and each one, the sweat reaches his body according to his deeds. On that day, your feet will not move an inch until you're questioned and asked about your income. Where did you gain it from? And where did you spend it from? And finally, there's no way to know whether my income is halal or haram except through knowledge. One of the means is coming here, but this, what I was telling you is not knowledge. It's just the tip of an iceberg. You have to go back to your Quran. You have to go back to your Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Read, learn, and ask. There are scholars all over the world, alhamdulillah. With some research, with Q&A, you will understand. You will learn, and then you will be able to identify whether I'm consuming haram, so that you prepare yourself for hellfire. You know, walk in the sun and turn off the air conditionings. Wallahi, nothing would help. There is nothing that can prepare us to hellfire. Just light a candle and put your finger for 3 seconds. Count. 1, 2, 3. Can you do that? Hellfire is 70 times worse than the furnaces, the most heated furnaces we have, or a volcano or something. 70 times. And how long we will stay there? A year, 2 years. Wallahi, ya akhi, 1 second we cannot tolerate. So finally, Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, for those who are interested in doing business, you have to learn. Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, used to go in the market. Wallahi, you flash from here until Maghrib. I'm going to finish. So don't flash for me, the time is over. I'm not going to stop. So Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, used to go in the market, in the souk, like the malls, with his famous durra, with his stick. And whenever he sees someone new, he asks him a few questions. And if the man does not reply or unable to answer, he hits him and takes him out. He says, get out, do not spoil our market. Only those who know halal and haram can come and sell. Because if you come, and I have hundreds of similar questions. Sheikh, I didn't know that this is haram, but now the transaction has been done. Why didn't you know? Because you were keen on gaining money rather than keen on getting what pleases Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah Azza wa Jal make our income halal. May Allah Azza wa Jal purify the countries of the Muslims from any haram transaction. May Allah Azza wa Jal make our transactions with our brothers and sisters all based on honesty and trust. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.